Welcome to SJ Talks. This is Krishna Manohar Badeti with another new leadership podcast series. On today's episode, we welcome Mr. Rajeev Chowdary Abhina, Associate Director and Practice Head of Camunda at ASIA. With an education background in biotechnology, experienced as a writer and an assistant director in the Telugu film industry, and also has been guiding students worldwide in the product management within IT and AI. So Rajiv has built a unique journey blending creativity, technology, and leadership. Let's welcome Rajiv on our show today. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you, Krishna. Thank you so much, and thanks for the opportunity, and thanks to SJ Talks for having me here.
Sure. Thank you so much, sir. So let's start coming about your education. So your education background is in life sciences, right?
Right.
And your career journey is into IT now. So how did it happen? And was there a moment that you set your firm path toward product leadership and AI innovation?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it was never a proper or a designed plan. So, after SSC, right? So, even though I scored highest in my maths, somehow I have hatred towards it. I don't like it, and I think for that reason I joined BPC in intermediate. So, like everyone, like I thought, okay, let me do medicine after completing my BPC and all those stuff. But it was soon I realized, like, okay, medicine, right? I'm doing an MBBS. You have to be dedicated for the entire life. So I think I felt like, okay, I'm not very good enough dedicating the entire life to it. So because I'm a person like who does multiple things, multiple things. I think for that reason, so I thought, okay, let me go through biotechnology because I'm into life sciences already. And to be honest, there was no one to guide me at that point of time. So I was going, okay, what best suits me at that particular point of time. After completing biotechnology, then I realized, like, at least at that point of time within India, the opportunities are very limited. So when I was in a crossroads, so instead of just staying there, what I did is, like, I took whatever the opportunity that came to me. So I joined a company as a technical support executive. So because of I'm a bit good at communication, English communication, they took me. So I think that's where I started exposed towards tech industry. So it is not into a core IT project management or product management, but I came to know, like, at least the customer support process, if some issue comes up, how these guys troubleshoot it and all those. So from there, like, instead of I never stopped or worried about, okay, what is my background and what is the way that I'm going on. So instead, like, I found the best opportunities. I hunted for the best opportunities, and I made to use those opportunities. And then I concentrated on learning any role I take up. So what is something that I should learn to make that role effective? So that way, from technical support executive, I joined a company. Typically, I consider it as my first company called Process Map. So I joined them as a technical support executive, and I've been with them for 7.5 years. And I was the youngest lead in the company. So then I moved to some other companies as a product manager. Then I did roles like project manager, senior project manager, program manager, and right now associate director with ASIA. So it was never a planned. So it was just about the situation, and I tried to give my 101% of whatever the role I get, and that's what brought me here.
Gotcha. So that's interesting. It really shows how one decision can totally change their career path. So Mr. Rajiv, so we see your career. It's into a combination of project management and as well as product management. So project management was delivered like it's more kind of a delivery on a large scale kind of a projects, right, and enterprise projects, and equally into the product management. And also I heard that, like, yourself has been a leader. You launched almost 10 plus products. And that really impacted. That's the business, which I came to know that from a few of the resources. How do you balance both, right? And what excites you more?
Again, to be honest, right, somehow that credit goes to my first company. So it was more about both project management and product management involved. I think that gave me an idea of not looking at them as two different identical things. So to be honest, right, I think any person cannot be a great project manager as long as he doesn't know very good about what product is getting delivered. In the same way, like no one can be a great product manager if he doesn't know like how effective that is getting delivered. So I know roles and responsibilities are different. Like in a delivery perspective, there are certain KPIs that you need to be concentrating on, and but in a product you have other KPIs where you need to. But again, I see it as a linkage. Like you start with product, then like develop it, then why do you develop it? End of the day, to deliver it to your customer. So deliver it, and during the delivery process you follow the like best practices in the globe and all those. So it's a like a straight line. But yeah, roles and responsibilities differs a bit, but I don't think, at least in my perspective, I don't want to see them separately. So that's the reason, like if you see my CV or LinkedIn, like you find like I've done product management and project management as well. That's how it is. So it is like one cycle is what I look at it. And but yeah, when you ask me like what excites you more, I think my DNA is more of a product DNA. So I love exploring products, and I always I'm happy to think like how to enhance my product and all those. So I'm a product guy with some exposure to project management.
I like that. So you have managed, that's two different worlds, I could say that, right? So that's a very few people does it. That's good to know that.
I agree.
Good. So across 15 plus years, you have worked in different domains from healthcare to IT and the financial services, telecom and sustainability and much more, right? So what something did not change all through your career, like in these shifts also, that remained the same for you, in you exactly?
Yeah, somehow I think looking back for the last 14 years or 15 years of experience, yeah, I've worked on multiple domains. But when I started, like domain was not a key priority for me. Like being a product guy or started career, the typical PDLC cycle as a business analyst, right? So I always think of, okay, what is my product about? So which customers are going to use it, and why someone has to use my product, and what is the problem statement, or why a customer is looking at my product. So then I think more of, okay, using my product, what is the best way to solve the problem of the customer. So I think while I ask myself about these questions, it is nothing but parallelly I'm learning the domain also. So because domain lets you know like what are the customer priorities and which region it is good and all those. But as long as you are being a product guy, if you are not diverting yourself from what exactly your product does and how it is helping the customers, I think domain doesn't matter. So domain thing is something like, as long as you are not deviating from the actual core implementation of the product and why is it needed, so it doesn't matter like your product changes or your domain changes.
That's a great point. Sometimes some values doesn't change, like I mean it's like they really stay constant, I believe. So whether you change the domain or not, that's good to know that again. So Mr. Rajiv, so a lot of our product leaders talk about roadmaps, right? So but very few people talk about what they are supposed to say that no to, right? So how do you decide not to build?
That's a great question, actually. So I think that particular point makes the difference between a person who is doing a product management job and a person who is of product mindset. So, I mean, being a product, managing a product, right? You have a lot of people coming to you, be stakeholders, be customers, or whoever it is, and saying that, hey, I need this, I need this, I need this. So, I mean, that doesn't mean that like whatever the requirement you get it, so you document it in terms of a big feature and user story and throw it in roadmap, right? So, because end of the day, you own the product, so you are the decision maker to make sure whether that needs to be implemented or not. So, and that happens with an analysis. So, like, I think the customer who is coming to you doesn't know the entire product for sure. So because typically in enterprise products, what happens is like certain set of users use a specific piece of the product, and like it happens across the product in that way. But you are the only person, or your team is the only team who knows the product end to end. So when something comes up, instead of directly taking it up, or instead of directly responding the customer, yeah, we'll do it, or yeah, let's not do it. So think of it whether you have that in your product already in a different way, or if you really don't have it, and the feature that the customer is asking you is going to really solve the problem of the customer is expecting or not, I think product manager is the only perfect person who can do that analysis. And after all those analysis, then you will be the best person to judge, okay, we have to do this, this is going to add value to the product and also solving the customer. Or say that, okay, this is already there in a different way, then let me call the customer, hey man, this is already there but in this screen or in this component or whatever, so you can go and use it there, but not within the limit that you are using. Or if it is something it is going to create more problem to the customer instead of solving it, then yeah, you have to make him sit and understand, so I'm ready to do this, it's not like I'm not going to do it, but if I do this, this is getting impacted, so now you tell me. So obviously customer will understand, for them the business is more important. So I think in this way, whenever you talk about your roadmap, it's not just like whatever you guessed from stakeholders or the clients, but it is more of whatever the features that you are planning in future, how effectively it is going to affect the customer in a positive way, at the same time make sure your product is getting evolved. So otherwise it's no, then there is nothing wrong to say no, as long as you have a valid reason.
Okay, that's an insightful answer. Saying no defines it's like I could say the strength of the roadmap, right?
Correct, exactly.
So Mr. Rajiv, so this would be again relating to the project, so that's a product management. So you mentored project managers, product managers, as well as you build the team also, right? So what's one trait you look for that can't be taught? You can't teach them, right?
At least for me, because looking at where I started and where I'm right now, right, I don't think there is something, anything that can't be learned. But I think, but for anything to happen, one thing that needs to be there is, or which cannot be taught by a second person, is the zeal of learning. So as long as you are not convinced that, okay, I have to learn this. So that is something as a product manager or as a teacher or whatever, right? I cannot bring that to a person as long as he has interest and he wants to make sure that, okay, I have to learn this. So if that is there, you can learn Arabic, you can learn Chinese, you can learn project management, you can learn the space techniques or whatever. So I think that is something is needed. Again, that comes in a multiple perspectives. In Telugu, we have something, right? Necessity, avasaram anni nerptadi. So when you have that so-called avasaram or the necessity, then automatically that zeal of interest will comes up. So it is a depending thing. So that has to come from the person who wants to learn it. So I can make him learn anything as long as he's ready to learn. So I think that is something which we cannot teach, but one has to get it from his own.
That's again a good answer. That's a good thought, I could say that, rather than you be saying that it's an answer. So some traits really can't be taught. So
exactly,
that makes all the difference. Mr. Rajiv has, during my introduction, so I was just stating like you've been in, have come down from biotechnology to IT, right? So specifically, not exactly into the product management, you also been involved in the AI innovation. So probably I just want to ask you a few questions on AI innovation, AI and relating to that. So you have authored, like that's where I even went through a few of your blogs also. So you authored some blogs on Agentic AI and orchestration and deeply involved in AI implementations in real time, right? So what's one misconception mostly the people currently have about AI in the enterprise environment?
So I think AI right now, what is happening is most of the companies, typically this is what I see when I talk to customers or different perspectives. They say, I think we need a solution which is having AI. And the base thing that we need to understand is AI is not a solution. It is a capability which enhances your solution. So when someone comes to me saying that, hey, I need an application that needs to be built which is of pure AI. So I think enterprises or anyone, right, including us, we need to understand AI is there to solve a purpose, but AI is not just a solution. So when I say okay, my solution, I want to enhance it with using AI, right? So you need to first identify or know about, okay, in this particular piece of application, where do I need to implement AI and why do I need to implement AI? and how do I need to implement AI. So as long as your three, like where, how, why is not answered, and if you say simply like, okay, I want like AI because everyone is talking about AI and all the applications are in AI, no. Because end of the day, you have a business, you have a solution, you have a product that is supporting your this thing. And just because the globally we hear like AI, it's not like you directly pitch in. So as long as you have the use case, I mean, typically it's like AI. Why do we need AI? Because we need to less down the human efforts. We need to automate for a reason, like to fasten up the process and to like when you have n number of requests coming in. So when a person like, or through APIs, sometimes it is difficult and it takes more time. So then that is a place where AI can help it. So if I have a simple application of 4 screens or for a very limited functionality, just because I'm backed up with a lot of financial stuff, so okay, let me convert this to AI. I don't think that is a greater approach. But now, like most of the companies or organizations who are talking about AI is like they want to get into AI because everyone is into AI. But again, like 60% or 70% of the organizations, they are trying to get into AI with a proper roadmap. Because I was talking to multiple clients, because I have seen this and I've seen that as well. So it, as long as you have a huge process and you want to automate it for to less down the cost, to less down the time process, and to less down the manual intervention where multiple what we call defects or the process is getting struck or incorrect decisions are taken, I think that is a place where you can use AI. But not like just because everyone is using, okay, let me start using AI. I think that is a misconception which people should start thinking of, so that we use the AI effectively when needed,
Right.
instead of just adding it in all the stuff.
That's a valuable perspective. That's what you gave me. So misconceptions about AI that's can slow down real adoption, I believe, right? That's what you said.
Exactly.
Okay. This is something which one of my coworker have just adapted that for you. So on a whole, with a lot of buzz and worry of AI, so mostly taking over the jobs in the market right now, right? So what's your stand on this, and how do you see this human resources future, especially in IT?
So I mean, let's talk about this in a generic way, right? So okay, first let me answer your question. No, AI is not going to kill jobs. I'll tell you why. So I think, right, so when I was doing my SSC, right, I wanted a cycle. So then during intermediate, I wanted a bike. So when I started my career and started earning, so I wanted a car. So I started with Alto. Then right now I'm using something else. So, and every piece of your life, you want to enhance your lifestyle or the way you live or the way you look and all those things, right? So the same thing happens with the technology as well. So initially, when like in industries, right, they used to maintain ledgers by writing with a pen on a book. So when computers came in, everyone said like, okay, all the jobs are lost. But what happened? What exactly happened? Like people got skilled on computers and they started entering the same numbers in an Excel sheet or a Word. So jobs did not go anywhere. They just got transformed. Same thing happens with AI as well. So right, so it is nothing but AI is not new. It's right now because the technology is getting changed and everyone is with smart mobile and like internet is everywhere. So obviously things get changes, right? So it's not like AI is a different new alien that is coming into picture. No, it is there. So previously we used to develop APIs. Now like AI agents are nothing but a very enhanced version of the APIs that we used to build. So it's more of at any point of time, like as a human, we have been evolving since hundreds of years, and now it's time for the technology as well. So right now the technology is getting upgraded. So what we have to do is, okay, understand the current situation, upskill ourselves, and just transform your job. So when you join as a technical support executive, you don't want to end up as a technical support executive, right? So you want to grow. Same thing happens with the technology. So during the process, upskill yourself, and now you are called as a business analyst. Then maybe tomorrow you are called as an AI business analyst. So that's it. So jobs are not going anywhere. They're just transferring from one phase to phase, and it is our responsibility as a human, where we are known for learning things and growing. So upskill yourself on latest technologies that are coming up, and just change your job to a seat. Your seat gets changed, but job is not gone anywhere. But yeah, I agree in a perspective, because right now, fortunately or unfortunately, I think this particular period of generation is in a sudden transformation. So because of that, you see like, okay, a lot of layoffs globally. But again, you will get hired when you get yourself upskilled on what technology they are looking at. So they are laying off certain people, but if you see, the same companies are hiring for AI roles. So it's just you have to take a U-turn and catch the crowdy bus. That's it.
Thank you so much for that answer. I really appreciate that view. So my friend would have got this answer at the moment. So it's reassuring that how humans will remain central in the future of work, I believe.
Correct. Yeah.
So coming about this, that's traditional teachers led learning, right? So now AI. So mostly people, everyone are just going AI led learning now. So how do you see this phase, rather than so depending on just the teachers, mostly only AI?
That's true. I mean, the way we learn, not just the technology, I think because of this, right? The way we are learning is also getting changed. But I think, see, learning is the base. I mean, as we discussed few minutes back as well, so you have to learn, and that's how you grow. So previously it was like, yeah, it was classroom training, and then there coaching centers and all those. Now like you have ChatGPT, you have Claude, everything, like you question it. So here the way you are getting taught is getting changed, but something that should not be changed forever is like learning. So learning is nothing about like feeding your brain with more information and upskilling, right? So it is fine as long as you are able to learn, like teacher-led training or like learning through ChatGPT or whatever, it is fine. So I mean, I would say like this, right? So there is nothing wrong in using AI to learn, but it is completely wrong when you replace your learning with AI. So for example, I'll give a simple example, right? So let's say there is a fresher who is learning how to write emails. So he has to write something on his own. Then like he can cross-validate with AI. Hey ChatGPT, so I wrote this way, is this fine, or can you fine tune this? So now ChatGPT by default, it will give like, okay, make these corrections and all those things. So you have to understand those corrections and then rewrite the email with your own hands and with your own thoughts. Instead of that, you directly go to ChatGPT. I have to send a mail to my manager for so and so reason. Give me a draft. Then you copy paste and send it. No, done. Same thing right now, like with the AI technology, like Claude, like it is a lot of companies are using Claude development tools. So I think I keep saying this to my team as well. So when the coders say that, okay, for this situation, write the code. Then evaluate with any open LLM or whatever it is. Then if there are any corrections to it, correct it. But end of the day, you have to write the code. So if you are directly generating code from Claude and then like you are using it for time being, okay, you did it. But when actual situation comes, right, you end up with not knowing anything. So it's all about, I mean, just take a practical example, right? You have to eat food by like all the vegetables and all those things, right? So that is how a human survives. But there are also tablets where like, which gives you an instant energy. So you take that, you skip food, and if you take thing, right, that particular tablet, you can survive for a few days or something. But end of the day, after a period of time, so everyone knows the difference of eating the food versus eating the tablet. So I call, like, if you stop learning and just use AI, then you are consuming that tablet instead of cooking the raw meal. So that's how I look at it. So definitely, because previously, if you have any doubts, right, you have to wait for the next day to go to the teacher, then validate, clarify your doubts. But now you have like ChatGPT or Claude or whatever it is in your handphone. So make use of it for your learning, but don't replace your learning itself using any tool. So for a short period of time that might help you, but in a longer journey, so you end up not knowing anything, and that's it. You're done.
Good. That's a fascinating answer. So education is clearly moving. I'm just like it's evolving, I could say that, rather than so we would haven't imagined before.
Correct. Yeah.
Mr. Rajiv, you have managed multi-country projects, right? So product teams, exactly. So what's the biggest lesson you have learned in leading all these working with multi-country product teams, right? So how do you balance innovation with execution across the global delivery models?
So that's true, right? I think the entire global has come to one umbrella now. So this is a common thing where you need to deal with different stakeholders sitting at the other side of the globe. So I think the key thing that a person who is handling that particular product or project needs to understand where he has to talk to multiple people across the globe, right? I think the focus should be clear. Your end target should be clear. So what happens is like people sitting in the other side of the globe and me sitting here, like I have a different perspective of like how to complete this, and the other person has some other perspective, and there should be a proper handshake between both of them while they together complete the work. I think when your focus and the end target and the clear milestones are very clear to everyone, and that is communicated to the entire team, I think we are good. So, but this kind of mechanism or this kind of collocated teams gives you different ideas, different mindsets, different perspective of looking at a solution or developing a user story, right? So all those things are the key features or like plus points, I can say. Instead of looking at it like a like problem statement, I look at it like an opportunity for you to understand more solutions or more perspectives of how to solve it and all those. So key thing is, I don't say the lesson I have learned, but something I literally understood is like your target should be clear, your focus should be clear, and that should be conveyed to every person in the Scrum team or the project team, whatever, irrespective of wherever they sit.
Rajiv, that's a great lesson. So, balancing innovation with execution is the real challenge of global teams. Mr. Rajiv, so this particular question is for the upcoming young professionals, that's for the youth. So, what guidance and key skills to incubate would you give to the young professionals aspiring to build their careers in product management and as well as AI?
Yeah. So, I think the first suggestion I would give, because talking to multiple people and globally, right? So, what I feel is don't run after certifications. Okay, instead run after gaining the knowledge and all those things. So I'll give you an example of mine itself. So I till date I never did any certification with my money. So it's just about the organizations, they wanted me to do some certifications after joining them, sponsored by them. That's where I did certifications. So why I'm telling this specifically is certification is something which is not going to get you a job, as simple as that. So your skill is something which will land you into a job. So, I mean, I was a CSM certified where I was doing a project manager role already. I did my professional Scrum product owner certification when I'm a product manager already. So, don't spend a lot of money on certifications. Instead, spend that money on learning tools, have the practical experience, and make sure you understand what you are learning. And certifications perspective, because I'm talking about certification again, because like whatever you are taught in that particular certification sessions is something exactly opposite to what you actually do when you land into a job. So concentrate more on learning perspective. And other key thing, I mean, for example, you landed as a business analyst or a product owner or whatever it is, right? So don't just stick to your job roles and responsibilities. If your job requires 100% of your efforts, give 101. Start learning beyond your job roles and responsibilities. So so now like there are a lot of technologies and we are like now evolving to AI. So imagine like if everyone is just doing their job, there is no next level that comes up. So when you want to learn AI or something and but you are into a different role, so complete your job and just go beyond that. Explore across the teams like what they are doing and all those. Get some idea of it, even though that has nothing to do with your current job, but one day it is going to get used. I think these are the things I want someone to really follow when they want to learn or upskill or whatever it is. Don't stick to your job roles and responsibilities. Go beyond that. And don't concentrate on certifications. Concentrate on learning.
Good. And that's an encouraging answer which you gave. These skills will really help the young professionals.
Exactly.
As its time is running up, so probably I just want to cut it short. So with this question, probably that's reflecting to your journey. So that's your journey which you already gave me very first at the beginning. So from a BSc graduate to technical support, and now you associate director. So that's what I heard, that you're being youngest of all the leaders in your organizations, right? So what advice would you offer to individuals like from the non-IT backgrounds and aspiring to build a successful career so in the industry?
So what I would do say is, I mean, when you want to get into IT, right? So irrespective of what your background is, just like me, like whatever the background yours is. First, I mean, at least in IT industry, most of the companies look at persons should not have any gaps. So whatever the opportunity you get right after your education, just take it up. So that is the first thing. So trying for an IT job, don't sit idle. So do something or the other. So then start understanding which role, because when you say you want to get into IT, right, like there are hundreds of roles, like, and you have to select like which role best suits you. Like you want to code, you want to be a developer, you want to be a tester, or you want to be a product manager or a project manager, something. I think that is something first you have to identify before you even think of, okay, let me get into IT for whatever the reason it is. So once you identify like what role you want to get in, then start learning about it. So there is something called SDLC, software development lifecycle, and product development lifecycle. So understand them like a story, but not like a course or something, right? See, SDLC is something I relate it to the personal life. I mean, when you have a product, right, or when you want to build a house, so what you do? So you gather all the things that are needed, right? So that is nothing but we call it as a requirement gathering in IT industry. When you develop it, is nothing but you are constructing your house. When you are testing it, it's not nothing but you are checking whether the person has built it correctly or not. So when your grow pravesh is nothing but go live of the application. I mean, connect it to your practical life and understand the concepts accordingly. Then like start applying for the roles and all those, and talk to your mentors or guidance or someone who can guide you like to get into it, what would be the best role. And don't just make yourself sit in a place and thinking of where what would be the opportunity, and you go ahead and explore. So do because there are a lot of opportunities, and previously when I started my career, that things were different. Now you have a lot of opportunities. Like it's all about how you take it, giving your 101%, not 100%, because you started from some other domain or some other educational background. But end of the day, when your target is clear and when your learning is with respect to your target, like maybe one day here and there, you'll definitely land into whatever you're targeting for.
Good. That's an inspiring answer. So your journey shows like how the non-IT backgrounds also can still lead to a success in the technology. That's a very good answer that for the non-IT people who were just fear of whether to get into the IT or some other getting into a different domain or something. That's good to say. Thank you so much, Mr. Rajeev, for being on the show. So taking your time, coming down, spending some hours with us. Good. So that was an inspiring conversation with Mr. Rajeev Chowdary Abhina. So whose career shows how product leadership and AI innovation can create lasting business impact. So his story, that's whatever we went through, that his non-IT background, and that's really awesome. So his story really reflects adaptability, vision, and execution across domains. So thank you for joining us on Azure Talks. Stay tuned for more such conversations shaping the future and technology. It's Krishna Manohar Badeti signing off for the day.